I met God on campus actually.
Oh, wow. My ear gets taken from OAU.
Ooh, yeah. So I met God on campus. It was the first week that I got to school that I was singing on my bed. I remember I was singing this Chandelier Sia song. And
Chandelier. That means you're in the world.
see, I promise you. See, I was just a Christian on vibes. I grew up in a Christian house, but
The prayer, exactly.
you don't really, we're just living based on vibes, or let's just complete, let's wear fine clothes to church and stuff. That was what I was about then. Then I got to church, school. I met God. Oh my God, my life changed drastically. My growth was very fast, because I'm a very passionate person. I'm very passionate about, if I put my attention in anything, I just lock in. Yeah. So I fell in love with God, the idea of it. I had people who were interested. So I would say,
But you're singing Chandelier. You missed us. I will not miss that thing. So what happened?
okay, so I met a sister on campus, Sister Priscilla.
Okay.
And they brought me to the choir.
Yeah.
And at first, I'm like, what kind of church is it that they're doing? They're praying in tongues there. What kind of, it was weird. I'm like, what's going on here? So, but then, like I said, I'm a very passionate person. So the people that came in that point, the freshmen that came in with my set, I was the first that I just caught it faster than any other person. Nobody had to lay hands on me for me to pray in tongues. We're just in a retreat and I just felt the power of God so strong. Like, woo, okay, this is different. And by the end, end of part one, I was already doing 7 hours prayer on my own and stuff. Yes.
What year was this?
This was 2017.
So at the end of 100 level, you were doing 7 hours.
Yeah, I was going to do overnight prayer on my own.
Overnight prayer.
Yes.
Overnight prayers.
Yes, no. Yes.
Just by that encounter.
No, not just by the encounter.
Okay.
So it was like a build up. So during the semester, I was getting much more, deeper as I was hearing the word. You are redeemed. You are, it was strange, But with time, as time went by, so by the end of the semester, I was already curious. I'm like, God, it looks like there's something you want to do in my life, truly, The first time I sang in the fellowship, then it was, the name of my Caris fellowship was Caris Fellowship International.
Okay.
So when I sang the first time, everybody just started rejoicing. I'm like, kilon shele, what's going on? So I was curious. I'm like, yes, I think there's something God really genuinely wants to do in my life. I was curious. I was hungry. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I had people who invested in me. Right? I would say that music was the main thing I went to do in school. I studied zoology, but
You studied
zoology.
We'll get there. Wait, we'll get there. Yeah.
So then I became at first I became a part head of my fellowship in part one. Part two, I became the TD, directing music. By part three, I was already praise team head for all of UJCM in OAU. Part four, I became choir coordinator. Part four, Pastor came to my school. He came to my fellowship and then he saw.
That was early years.
Yeah, so Pastor came and then was like, this girl, we're going to carry you immediately after you're done.
He didn't say that literally.
He said that. He told Pastor Tolu, he said, watch her when she's done with school. So immediately I finished school, OAU, CCI was coming to Ife. So I just became the music director then. So straight up, that's how I joined CCI. So
Okay, so that means you joined from CCI Ife.
yes, from CCI. I started from CCI. So I didn't always.
At the time, Olushola was the pastor.
Yes, it was my first pastor. So it was just something that happened or that I evolved into. You get so I even tried so many other things. I was a public relations executive at the point. I was a makeup artist at the point. I was doing fashion stuff. Everything just didn't work. It was just obvious that God had something and he was so jealous about it. So he was guiding it. Every point I tried to do something else, it's just, I just moved back again, into that. Like, so I sort of evolved into it. With time, God revealed with people, with circumstances, with places, with encounters that you're meant to be here. I have something to do with your life. So yeah, I'd say that's good.
Oh wow, I can uncouple a lot of things from everything that you said there, but I'll take it bit by bit. Okay, so you said you grew up in a white garment background.
Yeah.
And then transposing into Pentecostal. How was that? How did your mom take it? How David, the order, in those churches are very different.
My brother.
They pray a lot too in CNS, so don't get me wrong, because my grandfather was CNS, because they pray a lot. So, love, your story is very, unique, because you said your father is Anglican, your mom is Cherubim and Seraphim,
Yeah.
and then you had your epiphany when you were in OAU, where you started to relate with the Pentecostals movement.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did your mom take it? How did your dad take it? How were you able to, shift?
So I think it was a walk in the park because we were moving to another place, which was closer to my dad's church. So it was like no brainer. However, I would say that point that I left that church, it was very significant. It was important that I left. Jesus, I'm very careful because I'm sure they can hear this. But yeah, it's a white garment church, you get, and I would say like the dynamics of what God wants to do in my life clearly now
Was not in that direction.
Yeah, and with things unfolding there, it was glaring that I had to leave. So I think it was Kairos, it was divine orchestration that I left the point that I left, and yeah, my mom. It was not I don't think it was a problem. Yeah, it was just understanding. Oh, okay. I think the girls should not go to this place anymore. I think they should move here, and yeah, this is more saying because we're 3 girls. This is more, hey, Jesus Christ, that word saying. But this is more better, it's better than.
It aligns with the vision and
Yeah,
call for life.
hey, thank you. So, yeah, we're moving. So, I don't think it was a problem. I mean, I've never asked my mom, but yeah, I don't think it was a problem.
Does she still attend?
Sometimes, I mean, she attends CCI.
Are you serious? So you converted out? You're part of the people that converted their parents.
I mean, my whole household,
Yeah.
my sisters,
Everyone.
everybody. Yeah.
So I will say it's the reflection of your life or what they see through you.
Let me tell you. So, like I said, I had a very rapid growth when it comes to seeking the Lord or loving upon Jesus. So as at part 2 during the lockdown or so, I don't know if that was part 2 or not or so, but they saw the hand of God like visibly in my life. I had already started doing as a part 2 or part 3. I had started locking myself up for days to pray.
Heck by me.
Yeah. So there was a particular one that I did 3 days. I didn't talk to anybody. I was just in my room,
Dry fast.
Was he? Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. Was he? Yeah, so somewhat. So then my mom wrote something.
Personally though.
No, so something like she even brought mustard seed into my room. Actually, she brought mustard seed and she put a prayer point in it, and she wrote something there, and then I'm like, oh God, it looks like my mom wants to test you, my God, cause at first she wasn't in support of my Caris fellowship, of my fellowships, like yeah, I want to join or something like that. So it's like, but then first of all, it was first behavioral. She saw how my character changed.
That's it.
Before my sisters, I'm like, yeah, the war and the fight, But then I came back from school and then something, why are you patient? Why are you responsible, And you are praying. What's going on? And then later after the lockdown, when I came back home, she was now telling me about, something that happened. I think she just got a new car. I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, it's just, wow, God is faithful to you. And then she said something like, ain't Deborah Noni. Like, it just dawned on me. When I got home and I saw the manifestation of what she had prayed for. And I'm like, ooh. So they sort of evolved. Like, when they've seen the hand of God consistently. It was one of the retreats that I did that. So they called me while I was in the retreat that somebody wants to pay, the alumni association of my fellowship, then they wanted to pay for my song, a song that I had written random, and they started sending money, like different people started saying. So it was mind-blowing to everybody. So they saw the hand of God consistently. They saw the power of God. They saw how it changed my sisters and stuff. So it was easy for them to believe that, okay. So whenever I said, the Lord said,
they listen.
When I was moving to Lagos, the Lord said, it's fine. I was supposed to travel with my brother to Canada or so. I said, the Lord said I should move to Lagos. So.
Wow. Are you,
and yes, now.
Can I be your brother's brother?
Oh my days. But yeah, I remember when I moved to Lagos, my dad was like, after 1 year, I'm coming to pack your load. Yeah. So now they don't even fight it anymore. They just know that I
They
think
trust your judgment.
yeah, they trust my judgment. So
I think that's very profound because when your Christianity is not just by words but by your physical manifestations,
yes, sir.
your behavioral pattern, when they see that those things change,
sir.
that's actually one of the ways to evangelize.
Yes.
Yes,
Power.
especially in your family.
Yes.
Of course, you can go out, reach out to people, outreach, but in your family, they actually want to see your behavioral patterns.
100.
How does she respond? The same thing happened in my family.
Wow.
I don't know if you know. I attend Covenant Nation.
Oh, I see.
Pastor Podro
Oh, okay.
yes. So they said this, but just criticize. Why are you going here? You're born Anglican. You want your father's legacy to die. Your father has donated in the church.
Wow.
Well, I said this is where God has called me to be, and this is where I have been taught, and I'm growing. Do you understand? And this is where God has sent me to. And then, they just kept watching me. Just kept watching me, just like, wow. Until one day, my mom told me, I see Jesus in you.
Woo.
I can't forget that day. It was in 2020.
The best.
Yes, and many times if they have any strong issue, they'll be like, "Oh, Tolu, what's God saying about it?" I say, you people now. Some of them even call me pastor, and I said, "I'm not a pastor."
You call me Mama Love.
Mama love, So it's that's very profound and very understandable. But I'm very interested now in your consecration. Because you busted mine and said 100 level, you were praying 7 hours. Me, I didn't start praying 7 or 6 hours until I was in serious trouble in my 400 level.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I did that as the first time I did maybe 8 hours in Covenant University. Prayed. God answered me, and even there was a ripple effect. God answers prayers.
Yes, sir.
So at that point, what were you praying for? What was the challenge?
Oh my God.
7 hours.
No. So
And if it's 7 hours in the day, it's okay. At night,
I was in love with God.
okay.
Like
What were the things you were seeing as you were praying? What were you?
I was just singing to the Lord.
Were you singing or were you praying?
I was praying,
And then
but
you
then
stop and you sing.
because I remember one encounter that I had with my so I was doing, there's a place called White Wall in OA. So I was doing overnight that day. I was just singing loud. I would say it was an encounter, right? So I was just singing my heart to the Lord, and then somebody just tapped me. I was so scared. I was like, Jesus. And then it was my HOD then
At what time of the
that
evening?
carries. No, it was midnight. It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. or so. So it tapped me. I was scared. I was like, Jesus Christ, because Whitehall is always filled with people. People are always praying around. So he was praying and he heard my voice. Someone's like, I know this voice. Wow, you're praying. Wow. So he took me seriously. But I would say those moments, I wasn't in trouble. It was just more of God calling you deeper, or because I had weird friends, God, in school. When those people there are some people that say, oh my God, we were on fire when we were in school. Oh my God, that's my testimony. God, I had weird friends that had encounters with angels and stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had weird friends. So sometimes I'm trying to catch them, like, hey, Jesus Christ, these people, we're doing 24 hours prayer in school. Yes. We'll be praying for like nations of the world. We'll pray for, we pray for believers, pray for, just pray for random things. So I knew that I was being called into ministry. So my focus was just, sometimes it would just be a season of angels just waking me up every midnight, for every, like, without fail, at this particular time of the night, I just keep waking me. I'm like, what's going on? Why?
So you just wake up unconsciously. These things happen to me.
Yeah.
There was a particular day I felt a tap.
Yes, that happens. But sometimes it might just be a dream. You're just like, oh, there's something going on right now.
Yeah.
I need to focus. So I just wake up every midnight. I don't know why I'm praying. I just pray in the spirit. I just lock in. I'm just like, okay, Lord, whatever you want to do with my life, it's cool. But now it has more direction a bit. You get, so I'm like, oh, Lord, you know what? When you said something at the beginning, you were like, by the mercy and
Grace of
the
God.
grace of God. I promise you, it's only by the mercy and grace of God. Because these days my prayers are filled with just tears, just sheer helplessness. God, I'm like, God, if you don't help me, I'm doomed. Like, if you don't help me, if you are not here, I'm done for, literally. So I would say, I wasn't in trouble. I was just going deeper, or God was just drawing me in most of the time, just teaching me some things. There are some things that I didn't, like I said my growth was very rapid. There are some things I didn't have to learn by doctrine. I've learned a lot by doctrine, by learning, teaching, being a student of the word. But there are some things that I just know. For example, when I was a leader, I've been a leader since university. So most of the things I was dealing with, for example, if you come to me and say I had a sexual this, as at that time I didn't understand what it meant. I'm like, how do I? There was even one. There was a time that someone reached out to me, and then what they reached out to me for, I could not relate. I could not do it. I could not counsel them properly. I sent emails to pastors. Nobody responded. I said, God, you have to help me, or else this person, and the person broke out of the addiction.
Wow.
So most of the things that I learned or that I know, they didn't. It was more of God just speaking, or God just, breathing, or God just saying, So it was like the wisdom of God just emanating random, not me having to learn it.
Yeah.
I learned some eventually, because I knew I had to further, I had to do more. But it was just God teaching me, God pruning me. Because I was a tough person, Jesus. Before university, Jesus Christ.
You could blow up.
I went to Mapoli. Go and ask anybody.
Mapoli.
Yes.
Love you.
Go and ask anybody what Mapoli is. Like, I had a very weird past.
You're valiant. It's all things, don't worry.
Glory to God. So I was very raz, very, you can see it small.
It was tangible.
But yeah, I was very, very raz. I was on court, words. I don't know how to, filter words and stuff. So
it's not very raz. You're not raz. Don't worry.
I was. When I was in Mapoli, because Jesus, I was a smarty pants in school.
Was it because of the environment?
The environment was very porous, very bad, very bad. I'm sorry, Mapoli people, but yeah, it was not a very nice place. I went to OAU with the mindset of, what, everything I've been learning, all the theory that I know, it's time to make it manifest. But yeah, God had other plans for me. So
wow, this is beautiful.
There was no trouble. It was just God's way of drawing
you closer to Him.
Yeah.
Let's not forget zoology. I won't forget.
Oh my
I
days.
cannot forget.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that it was God that led you to study zoology.
Of course not. It was.
There's no divine direction.
School.
So why did you choose zoology?